But the key thing also is at the same time that we got to do things legal. That is the important thing, you know. So you got to do things legal, and those people that are doing illegal things in America and that are foreigners, they are not smart. Because when you come to America, you're a guest, and you have to behave like a guest. Like when I go to someone's house and I'm a guest, then I will do everything I can to keep things clean and to make my bed and to do everything that is the right thing to do, rather than committing a crime or being abusive or something like that. So that doesn't really work in this country. So I think the important thing is when you become an immigrant, to think about, okay, I go to America because I want to use America for the great opportunities that America has in education, in jobs, creating a family, all of those kind of things. Then you have to think about, okay, if I get all of those things from America, then I have to give something back. You have a responsibility as an immigrant to give back to America and to pay back to America and to go and do something for your community for no money whatsoever. Give something back to after-school programs, Special Olympics, or whatever it is. Make this country a better place.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we got to talk about this fascinating episode of The View that clearly went off script because they brought on Arnold Schwarzenegger, the anti-Trump Republican, the former Republican governor of California, who happens to be an immigrant. And clearly, they thought that he would come on and trash Trump when it comes to President Trump's illegal immigration policies, when it comes to the mass deportations. But let's just say that this interview did not go the way that they thought that it would go in regards to how Arnold Schwarzenegger would address what's currently happening in this country when it comes to mass illegal immigration. So I want to react to it because it's pretty hilarious to see The View squirm as Arnold Schwarzenegger answers the question clearly in a way that they don't like. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
As the former governor of California, my home state, California's been in the headlines. Obviously, there have been these huge protests of President Trump's immigration policies. He threatened to potentially arrest Gavin Newsom if he didn't comply. If you were governor right now of California, how would you be handling the ongoing crisis that the state's facing?
Well, I think the most important thing is when you are in a leadership position like that, is that you are inclusive and that you work together with everybody. Mm-hmm. And so it means that you have to work together with local government, the state government, and the federal government. They have to work together rather than fighting each other. Mm-hmm. Fighting each other's agendas and all of that stuff. That doesn't do good to anybody. And so that's number one. Number two, the most important thing is to create immigration reform. Because all of this is happening because we don't have immigration reform. For decades now, this country has needed immigration reform, which means that we recognize the fact there's people in the south of America that want to come north to work, and that we therefore should supply them with enough visas so they can come, because we need those workers. So this is the bottom line, because then we would know who is here. We will be able to get rid of the criminal elements that are here and all of this stuff, so we wouldn't be in the mess that we're in right now. So this is my way of saying always, Democrats and Republicans have to come together and solve this issue if they really want to be public servants. If they want to be party servants and be party hacks and be tied to their ideology, then it won't happen. But if you want to make this country better, and if you want to improve this country and improve the situation of people's lives and bring the prices down and all of this, you will go and serve the people of America. This is what it is. If you're a public servant, that's what you're supposed to do.
You know,
so that's what I would do if I'm governor.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right, about what Arnold Schwarzenegger is saying here. People keep talking about, oh, we need immigration reform. Now, again, it depends on who you're talking to in regards to what does that mean. Like, what does that actually really mean? Okay, because when Democrats talk about immigration reform, they're talking about mass legal immigration into the country. Now, the problem with the Democrats and their framing, and this is why that bill, that so-called bipartisan immigration reform bill was a no-go, is because they're putting the cart before the horse. Biden let in tens of millions of illegals, okay, into the country, and you have to deal with that problem first. Okay, you have to get all of those people out of the country first before you can talk about having people come in legally. That's what these people don't understand. Okay. You have to secure the border, which President Trump has done with the military. You have to codify that into law, right? So that no president can come in after the fact and loosen up the standards or essentially open up the border for illegals, right? You have to make it essentially very legally hard for the president to do that, right? To open up the borders in the way that Joe Biden opened up the border, okay? This is why it is important, okay, for voters to continue to put people into office who are going to keep the border closed, okay? Because as of right now, President Trump's executive orders are not permanent, okay? They have not been codified into law. If there was an election held tomorrow and a Democrat was elected president, then they could essentially just reverse everything that President Trump did. So again, this stuff needs to be codified into law. So you need to have the mass deportations. You got to get people out of the country first. Once people are out of the country, once the border is secure, then we can turn around and have a conversation about, well, who should be allowed to come into the country legally, right? But you can't get there without the mass deportations and securing the border first. That's what a lot of people don't understand, right? We could have the whole immigration reform conversation because I think some people or most people do agree that, hey, you know, we need to have an orderly system where people come into the country legally. Okay. I think everybody agrees with that. Okay. And maybe there should be some reform. However, you got to fix the problems that were caused by the Democrats over the last 4 years first, right? We can't start with millions and millions and millions of illegals in the country, giving them amnesty and allowing them to stay and then say, well, the problem's fixed. No, the problem's not fixed. We have to get rid of those people. And then we can come to the table to talk about what do we do moving forward into the future.
Yes. Yeah. But you were governor already.
I was.
You can't do it again.
I was. I'm not governor anymore.
But you are. But you know, as an immigrant yourself, you are an immigrant. You're an immigrant in this country. Yeah. Did you have a visceral reaction to what they're doing, what ICE is doing, when you see the videos of it?
Well, I tell you, you said that the immigrant. I'm so proud and happy that I was embraced by the American people like that. I mean, imagine they came over here with the age of 21, with absolutely nothing. And then to create a career like that. I mean, in no other country in the world could you do that. Yeah. Every single thing, if it's my bodybuilding career, if it's my acting career, becoming governor, the beautiful family that I've created, all of this is because of America.
That's true.
And so this is why I'm so happy to see firsthand that this is the greatest country in the world, and this is the land of opportunity. And I think because I'm such a proud American and a proud immigrant that came to America, I was asked to do, on July 4th, a big speech, the keynote speech at Mount Vernon, where George Washington was laid to rest, and where he lived and all that, to celebrate the 250th anniversary of America, the existence of America. And I will be doing the speech there. They asked me because I'm an immigrant, and there will be 7,000 some people there, and there will be people that will be sworn in and will become citizens that day.
That's great.
So it's really a great celebration. And this is what this is all about, is to celebrate people becoming Americans and coming to America and all that. And so I just think the world of the great kind of a history that we have with immigrants in America. But the key thing also is at the same time that we got to do things legal. That is the important thing, you know. So you got to do things legal. And those people that are doing illegal things in America and that are foreigners, they are not smart. Because when you come to America, you're a guest. And you have to behave like a guest. Like when I go to someone's house and I'm a guest, then I will do everything I can to keep things clean and to make my bed and to do everything that is the right.
Look at Sunny. Look at her hand. You can't see it, but you can see it right here. Look at her hand on this guy's shoulder, right, on his arm, right? He going off script. She don't like that. She getting real nervous. She got to grab him. She got to say, listen, you're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to say we have to do things legally. No, you can't say that on The View. You can't say that illegals are guests that need to behave themselves when they come into this country. Learn how to respect our country. They can't be over here waving foreign flags, right? Talking about how much they love Mexico while at the same time they boo-hoo, whining, and crying about being deported back to a place they love so much. You can't say that. You can't tell the truth about the illegals and their bad behavior. You can't do that, right? Again, that is essentially what is in the mind of Sunny Holston here as she squirms, right? She starts to squirm over Arnold Schwarzenegger going off script, right? When he starts telling that truth, right? Again, this is the nervous reaction that you're seeing here.
Right thing to do rather than committing a crime or being abusive or something like that. So that doesn't really work in this country. So I think the important thing is when you become an immigrant, to think about, okay, I go to America because I want to use America for the great opportunities that America has in education, in jobs, creating a family, all of those kind of things. Then you have to think about, okay, if I get all of those things from America, then I have to give something back. You have a responsibility as an immigrant to give back to America and to pay back to America and to go and do something for your community for no money whatsoever. Give something back to after-school programs, Special Olympics, or whatever it is. Make this country a better place.
Yeah, exactly. Give something back, right? In fact, stop sending your money to Mexico. Stop with the remittances, okay? Because that's what a lot of them do. They come over here to send money to other folks, right? To other people, okay? To send it back to their home country. They need to be taxing the remittances, to be honest with you. That's what they really need to be doing. But yeah, if you come over here, you do need to show some gratitude for the fact that you are now in the greatest country on earth, because as we talked about with some of these woke activists running over to Egypt, right? Every place on earth is not like America, right? These people claim America's so bad, America's so oppressive, it's fascism, right? When they go over to some of these other countries, again, like in Egypt, and they find out that, hey, you don't have the same rights and privileges over there that you have here in America, that's when they actually appreciate it, right? But again, a lot of these immigrants, the reason why they're coming over here is because they already had that experience. They already know that, hey, these other countries are not as good as America. Okay, and again, this is why they boo-hoo, whine, and cry over being sent back. So again, when you come over here, yeah, you got to show some gratitude. And the best way to do that is don't commit crimes, do things the right way, keep your money here, right? Don't send your money back overseas, okay? Unless, again, you should pay some taxes if you're going to do that, right? And yeah. That's what you should do, right? I don't understand how this is controversial in any way.
Don't forget, there's 90% of the people who come here are trying to do the right thing.
They're less likely to commit crimes.
And a lot of what's happening right now is people are getting snatched who shouldn't be snatched out of the country. People who have visas, people who have all those things. So we want all the right people. We don't want people who are doing bad stuff.
But they are less likely, immigrants are much less likely to commit crimes in this country than actually American-born citizens. And the other thing I just wanted to say...
Again, this is just factually incorrect because crossing the border is a crime, right? So every illegal that comes into the country is a criminal. What Sonny's saying is just factually incorrect, but they keep tossing out these statistics from these liberal studies, right? That nobody believes, by the way. Like, come on. Crossing the border is a crime, right? You're not going to convince anybody that's not the case. Yeah, when you cross the border illegally, yeah, that's a crime. So yeah, all of them are criminals. There's 100% crime rate amongst illegal immigrants, right? So again, this is just nonsense. This is cope.
Governor Newsom did not ask for the National Guard to come to, the federal government to come to California. There are 9,000 local law enforcement officers in California. Did he really? Every president has to send them.
I mean, look, this is a whole other issue because remember, the National Guard is under the governor's supervision.
That's right.
Yeah.
But, like for instance, when the National Guard was sent to Iraq during the Iraqi War, I was not the one that said, "Oh yeah, go to Iraq." The Bush administration came and said, we need those people.
They came to you.
They came to you. And we need the resources, we need the equipment, we need the weapons, we need the vehicles to ship to Iraq. And then they ship
it's the
to
coordination.
Iraq. So that's why I say it is very important that we work together. It doesn't matter who is asking whom. The bottom line is we work together in order to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can't just go in and do stuff. We all got to do it together like
Together,
this.
exactly.
But you know what? We got more with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Clearly, he said some things that they didn't want him to say, right? And that triggered them. But, you know, I think that he made some fair points, even though I think that Democrats, they don't want to work together in a reasonable way on this issue because they want mass illegal immigration into the country. They want unfettered illegal immigration. And that is where they're at. And you can't compromise with people who are extremists. They've shown themselves to be extremists. So until Democrats become reasonable, right, sane on this issue, there is no compromise, right? And that's just the reality of the situation. I'm hoping that Democrats become sane on this issue, but I highly doubt it. Until then, this is what's going to happen. The mass deportations are going to happen. We're going to do what we got to do to protect this country, to continue to secure the border. Until Democrats come to the table and actually, you know, become reasonable on this issue. Okay, being reasonable means deporting the illegals who are here. It doesn't mean mass amnesty, right? It means fixing the problems that they caused over the last 4 years, and then we come back to the table and figure out what we want to do after that, right? But we got to clean up the issue that happened during their reign first, right? That's what has to happen. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.